Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, Sales Whisperer, your host. And even though you're hearing this in back-to-back episodes, I've actually taken a couple of weeks off. It's been kind of nice. Getting better at batching these things, working now on batching the CRM Sushi podcast, figuring out that process, hiring an admin. Watch out, baby. You're going to see more of me as I get better at this. Today we've got a good guest, Kristen Zhivago. I blogged actually about her book a while back. Very good book, Roadmap to Revenue. She has a lot of good advice from 35 plus years in the business. We're going to talk about the 6 areas leaders need to focus on, if they do focus on. She looked at 30 plus industries and figured out what people are actually doing. We're going to talk about your website, when to launch it, how much focus and energy to put on launching it. A lot of things I agree with, and I learned a lot of that as well going through the HubSpot training over these years and how they talk about having basically a prototype, a thing that you build on the side in small increments, because it's tough to redo an entire website. I know because I did it. My site now, I've had my domain name for 11 years. A couple hundred pages. I had over 700, almost 800 posts, I think, when I made the switch. So I actually converted some pages to blog posts. I eliminated some old pages. I eliminated some old posts. Made new landing pages, new offers, did a lot of cross-linking, and still kind of working on it. It's always a work in progress. But, man, things are changing quickly, especially with social media, especially with private groups, with landing pages, things you can do with a quick launch. People don't care so much about the URL. So you need to stay ahead of the curve. That's why you listen to this podcast, and I appreciate it. I got a couple new things I've been working on as well. Actually, just this morning and yesterday, I cleaned up and tweaked some offers, made some new videos. Check out thesalesagenda.com. Right now, you can get to it from the homepage, but I'm always tweaking and measuring and using some smart content. So if you've opted in before or clicked through, you may not see those buttons. But thesalesagenda.com, made a new little logo, made a new landing page video, and was actually speaking about this yesterday to a real estate group. So if you need a speaker for your group, in person or remotely, let me know. I do that. But thesalesagenda.com. And then I also have the 7 Deadly Sins of Selling. We've cleaned that up, tightened up the videos. I've got that series going. Again, you can hit that from the homepage right now as well. Opt in for that. Get those videos and the booklet, the digital booklet, while it's still free. One day I may charge for that. I'm looking at everything right now. So some may stay free. Some may end up charging. Some I may start charging more for. You got to always raise your prices, right? I got to practice what I preach. So jump in now. So thesalesagenda.com and then thesaleswhisper.com. Go to the homepage. Get the 7 Deadly Sins of Selling while you still can. Now let's bring on our guest. Kristen Zhivago, all the way from Providence, Rhode Island, author of Roadmap to Revenue, How to Sell the Way Your Customers Want to Buy. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being flexible while the dentists picked on me. If this was video, you would see how pretty my pearly whites are. But you just have to take my word for it, all right?
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
All right. So Roadmap to Revenue. We're going to dive into a few things, but for our listeners that may not know who you are and what you do, would you mind take a minute or two, give us a little thumbnail sketch, and we'll dive down the rabbit hole?
Okay. I spent a couple decades as a revenue coach, helping CEOs and entrepreneurs, mostly in the high-tech industry. But when the web came out in '94, I branched out to other industries, but just helping them get more revenue, basically. That's what I did. I partnered with Joe McKenna. He's my business partner. We opened up a company called Cloud Potential in the end of 2014, basically to help companies get more customers using digital means. So that's what we do. it's everything from the little companies to the larger companies, just giving them what they need in terms of content, search engine optimization, making sure that they're doing the right thing to get reviews, and just making sure that they're doing what they need to do to meet customer expectations, Google's expectations, and revenue expectations.
Yeah, do you think Google's really going to make it? I mean, are they going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah, right. No, Google's the big gatekeeper now. If you don't get Google, you don't get found. So that's really what it's all about, is being found. And then once you find them, you got to convert them.
Right.
So
how important is SEO in 2017? Obviously,
it's essential.
Obviously, it's changed, but
yeah.
But has it changed for the better? Has it changed by people just can't game the system as well, but it's still important fundamentally?
Yeah, and I think the thing that's different about how we approach it is we approach it in terms of principles first and then tactics. So, yes, Google changes its algorithm twice a day. Yes, it uses 200 different criteria to find or to figure out where you rank. But Google still has some basic issues that need to be addressed. And one of the things we do for our clients is we build kind of what you would think of as a Google identity. Because what happens is people generate a lot of content, but if that content isn't giving Google a sense of the neighborhood and, where you are relative to other people and what it is that you actually do, you can really just do a lot of work and not make a dent into Google's algorithm and what they, how they rank you.
Right.
So it's really important to go after that, and it's partly content, it's partly looking at pages and making sure they're structured correctly. Google's very picky about structure. So it's a trick to write both for humans and for Google, but again, it's more about structuring the content than it is just the content itself.
So what does that mean? You're talking about like naming images, having video, having H2, H3, headlines, things like that?
Yeah, it's all of the above, though. I mean, it's that. It's understanding what you're up against with your competition. It's, and everything that you write, making sure that, if you're in WordPress, for example, there's a tool called Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T, which most people are familiar with, that helps you build meta descriptions, which are what you see in the search engine results, so that it's good for Google. It's structured right for Google. The theme is set properly, and Google knows what you're talking about, the keywords in there. But then you write it for the person, because Google doesn't pay much attention to the black text in the search engine result. They're really looking at other things. But the black text is what people read before they decide to click on you or not.
Right.
So it's kind of a combination of all of those things. And it's really an endless job. And now it's getting to where you really have to be careful or be cognizant of the quote-unquote near-me phenomenon, where people are standing somewhere and typing in shoes near me or food near me or restaurants near me. That's really become a major thing for Google, because more than half the searches are conducted by mobile now.
Right. So, like these big CMOs or companies you work with, like even me, I mean, people aren't searching near me for me. I mean, I got clients
That's
around
right.
the world. So should I still pay attention to that, or is that more for a local search for local providers?
That's more for local search.
Yeah,
that's more for local search. But you do need to pay attention to, for example, the reviews on your Google My Business, so that when your site shows up on the right-hand side, there's that panel that has your company with pictures and reviews and so on. That's called the knowledge graph. Bad name, but that's what it is. And getting reviews and pictures in there, keeping them updated, changing them monthly. These are all things that you need to do to make sure Google thinks you're worth showing. And you have to have at least 5 reviews. So pretty aggressive about going after that.
Gotcha. So when I'm writing Should I not say the word professional sales training 87 times in all of my headings and paragraphs? Are you saying that doesn't work anymore?
Well, you already know the answer to that question. Yeah, that's a leading question. No, of course, that Google's completely onto that, doesn't work. Google's also getting very good at contextual, I think they call it latent semantic indexing, which is really a way of saying that Google understands synonyms. So you can say something several different ways, and it will actually reinforce what you do and how you do it for Google. And, it's important to remember that Google needs to make a distinction. One of our partners talks about carpet cleaning, and there's two kinds of carpet cleaning. There's the solutions that you use to do it. Or actually, there's three kinds. There's equipment, and then there's the services. Google needs to know which one you fit into if you're all about carpet cleaning. So the rest of your site and your pages and then your identity all have to point to what you are. Are you selling a carpet cleaning solution? Well, okay, and I'm using some consumer things, but I've been in B2B for decades and I understand what you're up against there. But it's pretty easy to find out now. But one of the things that's really awesome is even though customers have gotten more equipped, they now have a supercomputer in the palm of their hand, we're also seeing that that marketers and salespeople have incredible tools they never had before, like LinkedIn, and there's a tool called SpyFu where you can go and look at what your competitors are advertising and the words they're using and how successful they've been with those words. So there's a lot of research in the back end that you need to do now or have somebody do for you that really pinpoints where the opportunities are and how people really are searching for you. And one thing that I've discovered, the book I wrote, Roadmap to Revenue, shows you how to interview your customers, which was really the thing you had to do before Google got better and better at telling you about your customers. And you still should interview them. But you're now getting data about your competitors that you just didn't have before, and you can make decisions. You can stand on people's shoulders. And you can actually see what people are searching for. And by the way, it's never what the people inside the company think they're searching for, which is interesting all by itself.
What do you mean? Like as a salesperson, like what I think my customers are searching for is not what they're actually searching for?
Mm-hmm. It's quite often that clients are surprised. They think there's a phrase, or another thing that'll happen pretty frequently is they'll say, oh, that guy's eating our lunch. He's so much better than us. He's killing us out there on the web. And then you go and do the research and find out that the client company's being found for about 250 keywords and the competition's being found for 13. And so you can go back to the CEO and say, you know what, this isn't actually our problem. Our problem is over here. So you can help direct your management because they do get stuck on themes. Right.
Yeah, the old curse of knowledge, right? I mean, you're too close to your own issues and you can't read the label from inside the bottle.
That's very good.
Right?
I haven't heard that before. That's really good. Yeah, that's good.
So was that a dramatic shift for you? I mean, I don't really know what a revenue coach is. Would you say you're still kind of doing the same thing? You're just getting more hands-on, or what's similar or different?
Well, first of all, because I was in the tech industry for so long, I mean, I started out selling machine shop tools when I was 17 and just really stayed with tech all through. I was in Silicon Valley for years and was sort of always on the bleeding edge of tech. So digital marketing, CRMs, all of the technology was not unknown to me by any stretch. And a lot of my clients were in the tech industry. So no, it wasn't that much of a stretch. But what happened, though, is the last couple of years, because of mobile and how that's changed the way people buy, and Google together, marketing and selling has changed completely. I mean, really completely. And if you keep trying to market the old way and sell the old way, it doesn't work anymore. We're just finding so many companies who have been, they're good companies, they're solid, they've been around a long time, and they're flummoxed. They're just shocked that what they've been doing all these years isn't working anymore, and they can't figure out why. So one of the things we did was we investigated 30 plus industries and looked at the leaders. There's always 2 or 3 people in a market that are just taking the market away from everybody else, and trying to figure out what they did that was different. And everybody focuses on their site. Turns out the site is a central part of all of that, but there were 6 areas that they were focusing on and working on that were always making them succeed. And the 6 areas were customers. They actually paid attention to customers, understood their customers, and gave their customers what they wanted. Search, again, Google's the great gatekeeper. You can't get customers without Google. Pay-per-click, they used it. They figured out how to use it. They optimized it. It's an awesome tool for that. And then conversion. So when people got to their site or talked to their salespeople, they helped them buy. Then they looked at, they were really good at figuring out what the competition was doing and bettering them. And the last thing they really focused on was technology. So they made sure their site was fast and loaded properly in mobile, not only for the device it was being read on, like being responsive, but also something that was easy for people to click on and understand and went and read well, so to speak, in mobile.
That's all wrong. It's all technology. Come on. We just need speeds and feeds. We need
exactly.
We got to go back to Flash. We don't have enough music. We don't have enough trumpets on websites today. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, you're right. I stand corrected. Of course,
oh my
you're right.
gosh, I'm gonna have to end this interview early. I don't know what's going on here. So that's awesome. So you had an interesting. So you were saying most people, I think, I see this just last week. Friends, customers. Oh, we're working on our new website. It's coming out any day now. Oh, it's going to take a couple of weeks. We're so excited about it, and I almost feel sorry for them. It's like, I know people still are so in love with their websites, but I think they're more in love just with the design and would their mom be happy to show their friends?
Yeah.
Come look at Junior's website. I'm just so proud of Wes. It's just so cute. You should see Kristen. She's really a go-getter. I'm proud of her. And it's like, Mom, look, and that's not it. I mean, is that what you typically see?
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, people get all hung up on their site. The other thing they do is they make it a big production when, in fact, it's really best to get it out there quickly. I mean, my partner's really a believer in that, where you build the prototype, you socialize it, kind of slowly internally, you get feedback from it, but it's completely an iterative process. It is not just set it and forget it. That's, if I could say, the biggest change in marketing in the years that I've been in it. There is no such thing as set and forget. The website is like a living, breathing being that needs to eat. And, it's like planting a garden and then walking away and expecting it to be fine. It just doesn't work that way. And the web's weird. The web breaks. Google changed something. You update something in WordPress and suddenly the site doesn't work. There's stuff that goes wrong all the time. So you really have to be on top of it. And you have to be not so picky. You have to just get out there, work on it, keep getting it better. And yes, of course, you keep improving it, but it's not like producing a commercial or, doing something where you get it, you put it out there, and then it just runs and runs. It's just not like that at all.
Right. So what are ways to improve it? I mean, it's more than just a new theme, right? Obviously, you got to keep up with technology, make sure it's mobile responsive. But I mean, are you helping them go back? Should they delete old posts or pages, or archive them, or let Google know that it's being de-indexed, or are you better off just letting it sit there, or better off just truly updating it, and enhancing it, keeping the URL for history?
No, You're kind of getting down into the weeds of tactics before you look at the principles. And the principles are that, again, the pages and all of the content, pages and posts, blog posts, need to be optimized for Google and structured so that Google gets it. But you also need to back up and say, well, hang on a second. Aren't we supposed to be developing some pages and some posts that reinforce? Remember, I was talking about the Google identity. And if you are a jewelry store and custom jewelry is really what you're all about and where the money is for you now, well, you better make sure that that's what your site emphasizes and that those pages are set up for that. And, it's just a lot of different things that you have to, again, Google's got 200 criteria it looks at, so you have to really look at the pages with the knowledge of somebody who gets all of that and upgrade it and keep upgrading, keep optimizing.
Right. How important are websites versus landing pages or funnels? You see all this new technology coming out, and you can use lead pages or click funnels, and people are putting up a 1 or 2 or 3 page website, and then everything else is just funnels and tripwires, and get them to spend $1, then get them to spend $21, get them to spend $221 a month. Is that just a different world? Is that like for the solopreneur doing some launches versus the jewelry store who needs to have a presence?
Well, again, I hate to keep saying it depends, but it really does depend. When you think about those 6 areas, one of them's conversion, and every single company has a different idea of what conversion is. It could be you want them to download a white paper, and maybe you want them to download 3 white papers to convince you that they're serious, or they watched a video 3 times, or, whatever that end goal of that landing page is. The beauty of landing pages, of course, is that it's a simple thing to change, and you can use tools like Unbounce and other tools that help you build landing pages easily. And you can go in there and test different things in them and test different headlines, and you can use pay-per-click and make a promise and see how people respond to that, and then change what you have on your landing page when they get there. So, but this is all, again, very customized. It's very understanding what you're trying to do and what you're up against. Because the other thing is, the beauty of the web is you can look at what the leaders are doing, and you can see how they're structured and how they're set up and what they've done that's worked for them, and then stand on their shoulders. You don't have to stab, darts in the dark. Right. So I think the answer to that question is it really depends on what you're trying to do and what your buyer's trying to do, because that's the part everybody misses, is that the customer has a buying process and the customer is completely in control of that buying process. We have absolutely no control over it. So we better be where they are when they're there, with the questions they have, with the right answers, in the right way, so that they're just, don't make me think, just give it to me. Okay, I got it. Good. Right.
So where does social fit into all of this?
It's part of the picture, and it depends, again. If you're doing B2B, social is really just a way of, and, you'll want to veer more towards LinkedIn and less towards Twitter or Facebook. But you do have to participate, partly because Google pays attention to social, just like Google pays attention to landing pages and blog posts and pages on your site and your advertising and all of that. So it even considers like tweets are just like another page. It's like, where is it coming from and who's linking to you? So another criteria that Google has is how many backlinks do you have? Backlinks being links from someplace else into your site, and how much domain authority do those linking sites have?
Right.
So the more of them you have, and the more of them that are of high domain authority, the more Google says, oh, yes, these people are important. Right. We'll rank them higher than the other guys.
So if Elon Musk links to your jewelry store, that may be okay. But if Oprah links to you and says it's one of her favorite things, that would have more oomph.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. More impact, yep.
Yeah. So are you finding your clients, these business owners, are they optimistic and enthusiastic because it's always changing and it gives them an opportunity to expand? Or are they frustrated like, oh my gosh, this again? Can't we just set it and forget it?
Well, they are frustrated. All of them have said things like, oh, we tried that pay-per-click or, PPC or search engine optimization or whatever it is. And quote unquote, it didn't work. That's the most common thing we hear. And the reason it didn't work is because they didn't have a coordinated effort where social was amplifying, landing pages was amplifying, pay-per-click was there's this whole amplification thing that happens when you keep coming at it from all angles and building on itself. It's like proving your worth to Google and even to customers because they keep finding you different places. So they usually went to single vendors, like an SEO vendor or a content house or a pay-per-click person or something. And they can even wreck themselves doing that. We had a B2B client that we did an appraisal for, and we discovered that their pay-per-click vendor was bringing leads into their site. Good, great. And they were getting paid by the lead. So the more leads, the better. The problem is they weren't distinguishing between a very cheap version. It was a flow meter company that did very high-end $3,000 flow meters. And they were competing, quote unquote, against $100 or $2 flow meters for garden hoses. And because the ads were not specific, they were getting all that garden hose traffic, which made people come in and go, oops, that's not me, and bounce out, which increased their bounce rate tremendously, which made Google think, oh my goodness, nobody likes this site. They're all leaving. So I'm going to rank them lower. So the more successful they were with their pay-per-click program, the more unsuccessful they were with search engine optimization. And things like this happen. You really have to understand how these things play off of each other to make sure that you make good decisions and that you're watching this stuff as it happens, right, and looking at it.
I see both ways. It's like I tell people all the time, this is good and bad news, right? The bad news is this is a lot of work. The good news is your competition will get tired and bored and frustrated and they'll give up. So stay the course, right? Because it's just, I remember years ago, people were like, oh, I'm just going to take everything online and I won't need a brick and mortar and my profits will just go up. And we're like, no, a website's going to be dang near as expensive as having a brick and mortar. It's just a digital footprint. It's different, but it's still.
Well, it doesn't have to be that expensive. One of the things that burn us up is companies that charge too much for websites. It's now possible to set yourself up with WordPress with a decent template, and even an e-commerce site like Shopify or a platform like Shopify can help you get set up pretty easily for, a couple tens of dollars a month, like right, $29 or $79 or whatever. So the whole idea of having to have a custom built, designed, all, coded, and you're hostage to that company forever kind of site, that's just not where it's at anymore.
Right.
It really isn't. So we don't recommend that people do that.
No, I don't think they should spend that much. But I'm saying, let's say they've got a little retail store and they're, paying whatever, $4,000 a month in rent. You can easily spend $4,000 on, even if it's a bunch of different contractors, a good web person keeping things up and running, even as a contractor, your pay-per-click advertising, subscriptions to things like Lead Pages, Unbound, SpyFu, having a social media manager, a couple hours a day or 5 hours a week or whatever. Once you bring all those people in, you can very easily spend $4,000 a month. Your CRM, your autoresponders. So it's not necessarily that you're going to have $100,000 on a website. That's ridiculous. But the total cost in running things for an offline or an online business can be just as much as an online business.
Well, again, yes and no. I mean, again, I don't want to talk about packages that we offer, but we do offer very inexpensive packages for mom and pops because they can't afford that.
Right.
So you really, I mean, this is one of the things that my partner and I share in common. What gets us up in the morning every single day and has for all of our lives is helping those entrepreneurs be successful. And really, in this day and age, even the last 2 years, to be able to market and sell again confidently and understand how the game is played and what they need to do. I mean, we're very transparent. We keep teaching people all the time. We tell them what we're doing so they understand it. And I think that's really important. I don't think you have to be spending so many thousands of dollars. And it depends. I mean, we have large e-commerce companies, selling millions, and that's a different situation. But when you're just a mom and pop somewhere, and you're just a small business and you just want to make sure that you keep everything up to a certain standard so that you're competitive, you shouldn't have to spend that kind of money.
Right. So for those smaller companies, are you teaching them things or encouraging them to learn this, how to do some of the things on their own?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Even our, I mean, the larger companies, we teach them how to go on the back end, but even the smaller companies, anything that we can do to help them, even the small mom and pop stores, they want to be able to go in and edit their products and have sales and, do things that are sort of spur of the moment upgrades or whatever. And they need to be taught briefly, and then they take off. And again, you mentioned before we got on the air about our academy. We started a school called Cloudwise Academy, basically learn to earn skills, teaching people how to build websites. And that's a combination of people who want to be employed in a new area, and be tech savvy. And then small business owners who want to just learn not even so much how to do the website or manage it, but manage the people who are doing the website. So once they understand it, then they can't be ripped off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell people a lot of times I work with them is, I want them to be conversant. It's not always in their best interest to become an expert at the stuff, but they need to at least be conversant so they can run things, so they can get bids, so they can supervise or whatever, because I don't know. Are there more charlatans now than ever, or are they just more prolific because of the internet? They can just go far and wide rather than get on a horse and buggy and go from town to town.
It's kind of an interesting time. I think I can't tell you for sure if there are more or fewer charlatans, because there's always been charlatans in the tech business as long as I've been in it. And people serving the tech business. There's been a lot of smoke and mirrors and talk and, bragging and bravado and all that stuff. And it's sickening, honestly. I actually left Silicon Valley because it was such a hotbed of ego. It's one of the reasons I left anyway. So I can't say if there are more or less, but I will say this. I will say that the small business people and the marketing people have been around long enough now with the web and with charlatans. They've all run into the charlatans, and that's part of the, we tried this, it didn't work thing. And a lot of them have been held hostage where their site's up and they can't get any changes made unless they submit a trouble ticket, and then it takes 2 weeks, and it's, it's kind of an emergency and they really need it fixed. People are really tired of that. And I think what's happening is those companies are going to be, and I say this selfishly, but I think it's true, replaced by companies like ours where we're saying, well, first of all, it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. Secondly, we're going to teach you every time we can. We're totally open about what we're doing and how you can be better and all that. And we tell the truth about where they are. If they need to fix something, it's, we come back and say, you know what, this just isn't working. We've got to try over here. So I think people really appreciate that now, and they're more in tune to it. So I actually think that the charlatans are going to have a harder time of it.
You tell the truth to your clients? Did you really say that? I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to. Let me see. That was the 34-minute mark. I'm going to have to chop that out real quick.
No.
Yeah, that we can't have that. I don't know. Very interesting. So, well, that's a big move. Silicon Valley to Rhode Island, huh? I mean, you really wanted to get away from those egos.
I did. And it was partly we were sailors, and we wanted to live on the water for less than $27 million.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
because the Bay Area is so crazy. But I was kind of tired of California. It was just it wasn't a fun place to do business anymore. And it's being in a small state like this where you know everybody. We live on an island, so everybody knows everybody. It's really kind of neat, and a lot of our families out here, so it's good.
Yeah, very nice. Well, this has been fantastic. Where should we send people to learn more about you, your books, your blog, or if they want to even hire you?
Well, they can go to cloudpotential.com. That's our company, cloudpotential.com.
Okay.
You can find my book on Amazon, of course, Roadmap to Revenue. It's in Kindle and all the other versions. And then I also blog on the Digital Revolution Show, which is my partner's weekly radio show that helps small business demystify the internet. So that's a place where I post most of my articles. I've been blogging for almost as long as the web's been around, and that's where I'm blogging now. So
very nice. So what did you use to blog back in the day? Like 90s, like before the Google. Were you? I
can't even remember what I used. I mean, it was so. It was all custom coded.
Right.
Go to the developer, work with him. So it's quite different now. It's so much easier. Do
you have all that archived and like stumble across every now and then, or did it just go into the ether?
Well, they're still out there. I have a site, therevenuejournal.com was my blog for a long time. And if you know the secret code, you can get in there and look at things. But, I mean, I also try to stay up to date. I mean, that's sort of an endless battle, just making sure that you're up to date on what's happening. Right. So I really try to blog for what's happening now.
Okay, so that brings up one more question. You got time for one more question?
Sure.
It just kind of, because I was talking with a guy last week. I had on Leonard Kim, and he goes far and wide. He talked about how he started on Quora, and then he got this huge following, and now he'll post maybe at Quora, but then copy it and paste it, put it on his website, put it wherever there's traffic. Do you recommend things like that? Do you recommend aggregating sites like Quora or LinkedIn groups, or putting your posts there because maybe there's more traffic versus your own website?
That's especially true of the B2B companies. LinkedIn is fantastic for, a good place to put your blog articles. You have to make sure, though, when you do that you first put it on your own blog and set up a fetch so that the article's fetched by Google so that Google knows to crawl it. And then once you've done that, then you kind of own it. That's like the first place it appeared, and that all makes sense. Then you wait about 24 hours or something. It's no set and fast rule, but that's a good rule of thumb. And you put it on your LinkedIn page, and other places if that's appropriate. But yeah, there's no harm in doing that, and it actually is really good for B2B companies.
Yeah, so it seems like the old duplicate content Google slap isn't as prominent, or are they just recognizing that this is a valid method of
but I also think it's kind of obvious when you're gaming the system. That's the thing that Google's gotten good at, I think, is that they're pretty wise to I had this rule when I started my business that I wouldn't do business with jerks. That's just my rule. If somebody's a jerk, I don't do business with them.
That's a jerky thing to say.
Well, it's actually a little test. If people laugh, they're not jerks, and if they get offended, then they're jerks. And so That's how they tell me if they're jerks or not, by their behavior, by their reaction to that. And I think when I've thought a lot about jerks, and jerks have 2 or 3 games, and that's kind of it. And nice people have lots of different things that they do because they live in reality and they're honest people and they try to do better and all that stuff. So I think Google has probably figured out just about anything anybody could do to game the system. And if they haven't figured it out and somebody tries, they're going to figure it out then. So it's better not to try.
Right. Yeah, it's. I think we're in good times, heading to better times because of that. I mean, I think the charlatans will always be out there. The black hat guys will always be out there. But it is certainly, as Google has gotten smarter and has grown up, and even artificial intelligence, whatever else is coming down the pipe, it makes it harder for bad guys to do their tricks. So that's. I mean, we all benefit from that.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Christian Zhivago, all the way from Rhode Island.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on the Sales Podcast. We will link everything to you, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Wes. It was a pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
How about that, huh? Stop being so picky. Things are always going to change. I'm in a couple of masterminds. I'm in a group. I paid a good chunk of change to work with a guy that's very good at Facebook marketing. He is literally changing monthly, if not weekly, how he approaches Facebook. New algorithms are coming out. He's a big poster on his personal profile. And now Google realizes that people are kind of gaming the system, especially people like me, that our business is us and vice versa. Right, and I haven't been that active on my page. I do more on my profile. But if you overpost, overshare, and Google thinks you're trying to do it for business purposes, they're actually limiting the reach of your personal posts and shares. So it's going to drive people back to the pages. And there, the reach is already low, so that drives you to spend money to get the word out. And, I'm talking with a friend of mine in the Implementers group. You can join that as well. It's free, theimplementors.com, theimplementors.com. And, I'm telling him, hey, it's 10 to 20% product creation and 80 to 90% promotion. It's not enough to just have good content and have regular content. If a tree falls in the forest, right, does it make a sound? If your blog post is really good but nobody reads it, is it any good? You have to focus on promotion, and that means you got to pay to play. And that's the world we're living in now, and you got to be doing more video. People are attention deficit disorder sufferers. They are torn in many different directions. I mean, golly, this Game of Thrones come out. I think I'm one of like 3 people in the world who haven't seen Game of Thrones. I saw something that said porn viewership is down while Game of Thrones is released. Like, what? I didn't think anything could impact porn. But hey, there you go. So people are torn in all these directions. Game of Thrones, porn, cat videos, sports. And now you're trying to get your message out. You better be promoting hard to make sure you're getting the eyeballs. And it's not enough to get their attention. You got to get them to read your stuff. Then you have to have a call to action so they click through to your website. Then they get to your website. You better cookie them, pixel them, right? So you can then retarget to them. And then you got to get them to opt in for something. Then they got to open that. Then they got to read that. Then they have to take that call to action. Sign up for a free trial, 1 free week, $1 for 30 days, 30 days free. Then finally get them to spend the money with you. This is not child's play. So double down, figure out how to grow. If you need some help, hit up people like me, see if I can help you. I've been talking about my Dig Deep program, and it's a very affordable way that we get started to help you dig deep. Digdeep.today. You're going to get a detailed questionnaire. We're going to spend time going through it. We're going to record it. I'm going to give you a lot of advice very quickly, because a lot of people are BSing. There's a lot of consultants out there that want you to think you have to pay, $12,000, $25,000, work with them for a year to figure stuff out. And it's like, if it takes them a year to help you, then how good are they at consulting versus selling, right? And they're just getting money out of you. And I've got a client right now send me some 8-page questionnaire that a coach had sent them. They joined like this level 1, and then they got into level 2. And this level 2 document was just a bunch of esoteric questions. It was just a travesty. 8 pages, but there was room in there for you to write on it, like 1 inch or 2 inch margins. It was like maybe 2 pages of content, probably a page and a half if it was double space. And it was just questions you can ask in different situations. And heck, I got a 8-pager I give to my Make Every Sale clients, and double space, right? Not a bunch of hype, real questions. But anyway, this thing had typos like crazy. And this was their level 2 to get you to invest in their $25,000 1-year level 3 program. And I know some people are like, well, Frank Kern puts in typos on purpose just to show he's a human. And okay, great, I get it. But there's a need, you have a responsibility, I think, to have some professionalism in there, especially when you start getting to the $25,000 range. Okay, you give a free report? Yeah, there's some typos, there's some glitches, whatever. I do a free podcast here. You may hear the dog barking. I may not take the time to edit that out. You get it for free, right? So, but to try to upsell somebody like that, I don't know. I'm very good at what I do. I can help you very quickly. That's why most people are happy just to do the dig deep and go implement. But from there, we'll know how to move forward and how long that will look. Is that a 90-day engagement, in our 90-day program? Usually we go from the dig deep to a 90-day program where we work with you. It's still a lot of coaching and consulting versus us doing it for you, but there is a little done for you in there. And then if you still need help, or if we jump in and we're getting stuff done, but you just need it faster, then we can quote that out. But, definitely crawl before you walk before you run. So if you need some help sorting all this out, check that out, digdeep.today. And I'm happy to help you as close to today as possible. Well, you'll certainly get that the questionnaire the minute you sign up. So you will start digging deep today when you sign up at digdeep.today. Thanks for listening. As always, please share this. Please comment. Let me know you're out there. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And remember to sell different.